All right, everyone. Good afternoon. Time for the FNGO lunch break. So glad you guys could join us today. I see a couple of you out there in the comment sections already. Chris Bowers and Doc Holliday, Cam Houston, Binkley. Houston's always first. You guys on TikTok, hey, appreciate you joining us today. I think we're going to just make this the Redneck Rush Limbaugh show. Just every day, just doing something. So Doc Holliday asked me, what's for lunch? 5-hour energy, a cup of coffee, and it's this is from Blackbird Coffee, and it's Ethiopia Natural Kimbata. I don't know what the hell that is, but it ain't Folgers. So right here, here's to you guys right there. Pretty good, pretty good. Got a lot to talk about today. If you guys watched the live well last night, we had Bassmaster Elite Tim Doobie on, and that was a pretty good show. Went downhill towards the end a little bit. He actually got to experience what being on the live well is actually like when we go down our rabbit holes. But we had a good conversation. And so, guys, especially you guys on TikTok, hey, appreciate you joining us. Having poverty for lunch with a side of deep breath, Jeremiah Giles. Absolutely, dude. We are going to slowly descend into mediocrity here. That needs to be the slogan of the show. FNGO's the lunch break. A slow descent into mediocrity. I like it. I like that. Maybe we'll get that put on a T-shirt. But got a lot of things to talk about, guys, too. Remember the benefit tournament on Notley, Fishers of Hope's putting on for the Millers. Go to their Facebook page, Fishers of Hope, and they're pre-registering right now. And I, unfortunately, will not be able to fish it because I am going to be down at ICAST. I'll be driving home next, not this Saturday, but next Saturday for my cast, so I'm not going to be able to make it. I want to say special thank you to Andy Anderson with Brooks Anderson Fishing. The mail delivered this cool hat to me today. One of these cool people hats, these young people hats, these rope hats, flat brimmed hats. I got a big fat head. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wear it properly, but hey, we'll give it a shot. So hope you guys are enjoying your work day. I hate it if you're working, but if you are, maybe we can bring a little laughter, a little spirit to it just to make it a little bit easier. Jeremiah Giles, ICAST, take me. Well, you know, Jeremiah, if you'd have reached out earlier, because registration's closed now, if you'd have reached out earlier, I could have put you down as an employee of Fish North Georgia, and you could have gone down there, and you could have seen all the sites and everything. Maybe next year, hit me up. I know Tony and Tim and, let's see, Daniel Hamilton. I got a lot of employees at Fish North Georgia all of a sudden, but all of them are going to be down there, which leads me to next week, too. I'm going to go ahead and put this out there. Monday, we'll do a lunch break. Tuesday, I'm driving down to Orlando for ICAST. So I don't know how we're going to do the lunch break next week. I know Tim and Tony and them and Josh, of course, my partner here, he'll be down there. So it might be, I'm going to be in the booth with Digital Sportsman Wednesday and Thursday promoting their application for guides and everything. Bass Snatcher, are you going to be at GOM Blast? Well, if they invite me, we'll see. I haven't got an invitation to GOM Blast. Might just go up there as me and just check everybody out. But it's quite possible that we could be up there. So when is the GOM Blast? I used to go to that a long time ago when it was in Gwinnett. I believe it was Gwinnett. I used to go out there and when my father-in-law was alive, and we'd go out there and check all the stuff out. But I haven't been to one in a while. Now that it's over in Emerson, I believe that's where it's at. So let me know. Let me know. We'll see what we can do. Tony, by the way, since you're on, the 25th and the 27th of this month, well, I'm marrying Tim McGuire on the 27th. So we'll have to figure it out. And plus, guys, if you want to have, what's up, Farmer? If you guys want to have get married on our podcast, I couldn't talk Tim and them to doing it on the podcast. But if you guys want to get married on the podcast, I am internet certified and ordained, and we will marry you right here, either on the lunch break or on the one of the Tuesday or Thursday night shows. So, but I'll see Bass Snatcher. Let me go ahead and give you guys the what today in history that we do. Tim Wyatt again. I don't know. What do you mean again? I don't know what you mean in the comment section with that. But here's what happened today in history. In 1868, the 14th Amendment was ratified. The The 14th Amendment was ratified. Now, for those that don't know what the 14th Amendment is, I'm going to give you a broad stroke. It defines U.S. citizenship and guarantees equal protection and due process of law to all persons. It also addresses the representation, debt, and enforcement powers of the federal government after the Civil War. So, you guys right there, now you know what the 14th Amendment is, which leads me to ask you guys this question. How many of us really know what the Constitution says? I'm not going to tell you that I do. I need to do a better job. We need to know. There's nothing more frustrating than hearing somebody say, that's unconstitutional. You know, good and damn well they don't know what the Constitution is about. I know just enough to know that there's a lot of people out there that are like, you really don't understand the Constitution, and I don't understand it great. We all need to do a little bit better job of that, doing that, learning it and learning about our representatives, our senators and all that, state and federal. We need to know, because there's time and time again, like with the boat ramps on Lake Lanier, like who the hell do we reach out to get this going? And but that's just, that's neither here or there. We all need to do a little bit better job. But for those of you that want to know, in 1868, the 14th Amendment was ratified on this date. Now, one other thing too, we're going to talk boat snacks, music that we don't want to admit we listen to, and then finesse fishing techniques for guys that don't have forward-facing sonar. But I want to throw this in. I didn't plan on this, but every day I get, let me read Jeremiah Giles' comment. You guys on TikTok, if you got a comment or question, throw it out there. I'll be glad to acknowledge it and answer it as best I can. People don't even read the Bible or the back of the packages on the food or meds they buy. Of course, they don't know what's in the Constitution. Jeremiah, you're absolutely right. It's a sad state of affairs, right? It is that. But we can do better. We can do better. We should do better. But anyway, I get a lot of messages here almost daily now with guys asking me questions like about starting a YouTube channel or TikTok or getting a new job, going out and trying new things and all that. And one of the biggest fears guys have is the unknown. And so I just wanted to say this, because I'll get some more. I got one this morning. I got one yesterday. Guys, go for it. Go for it. 100%. Just go for it. Cautious people do not make history. They don't make history. And the worst that can happen is you fail. But I will tell you this. You've got to have the mindset going in. You've got to be willing to fail to make it happen. 100%. If you're not willing to fail at it, then it's not worth doing. Do you see what I'm saying? I see guys that will go, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. But they put out one video every month. You can't do that. You got to be on it. TikTok, all that. If you're going into a new job, had a young man that follows us. He was asking me about a pay cut to take a job, and I'm not going to bring his name up. But the job would be in what he loves to do. And I asked a simple question. Would it make you happier? Is that, that cut and pay worth your happiness? And he said, yeah. I said, go for it. Go for it. Eric Thurman, nice, sitting at work with feet kicked up on my desk watching a podcast about fishing. Well, we'll get about fishing. That's a little bit different on the lunch break here. We'll talk about whatever. Got a great plan to talk about fishing, but we sure as hell don't know if we'll get there. But go for it, guys. Be willing to fail. It's going to, it can be tough, but you got to motivate yourself. If you can't motivate yourself, nobody's going to motivate you. And so, but I get these messages every day, every other day. People want to know, hey, is it worth doing this? I can tell you right now, we've been doing this for 4.5 years. Hell, maybe even longer than that. It's hard. There's ups and downs. A lot of it's a pain in the ass. There are days you don't want to do it. You got to get up and do it anyway. And so we're finally seeing the snowball rolling here at Fish North Georgia with what we're doing with all our socials. We got a TV show. We got all these things, brand ambassadorships, like with Groove Tackle and all that we're getting ready to start doing. It's worth it. Now, Farmer says, I lack in self-motivation. But you shouldn't, because you're good at what you do, Farmer. You're really good. Great advice from old Uncle Danny and FNGO, started from absolutely nothing. Guys, this is the honest to God's truth. When Josh asked me, Hey, Danny, you want to do a podcast? I looked him right in the eye and I said, what the hell's a podcast? I did not know. The only superpower I got in this world is I don't shut up. But he asked me that. I didn't even know what a podcast was. I did not know. This is sad because I did new construction, heating, and air. I was a flex puller. I'm the one that put the ductwork in your houses and all that. I had no reason to run computers or anything. I got up, went to work, came home. That was it. And now I run our social media. I run our website. I do a lot of stuff when Josh is out of town. I've learned how to edit, all this stuff. So if an old fart like me can learn how to do it, you guys can do it. I thought copy and paste. When I figured out what copy and paste was, that was like the biggest thing I had ever experienced. I thought that was fantastic. And now, there's so much other things that we do. The editing is the hard part for me. The finished product is nice, but it's so time consuming. It is, Jeremiah, but is it worth it to you? If it's worth it to you, you will keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, or you will find the people that can help you do it. And that's another thing too. Don't hesitate to reach out and get help. But I think everybody should have their own YouTube channel or TikTok or whatever. But I will tell you this, here's one piece of advice. Find your niche and be a little bit different than everybody else. There are 100 podcasts out there, fishing podcasts out there you guys can listen to every day. 100%. How many of them are the exact same thing? The ones that stand out are a little bit different, and you got to be a little bit different. You got to have your own personality, and you got to be willing to do that. So Eric says, I don't get to watch it anymore, but I started watching from day one. Well, Eric, you can listen to it when I put it on iTunes or Spotify. But you got to go for it, guys. I'm serious. Just go for it. And you can't be afraid to fail. If you're not failing, you ain't trying. Trust me, I've screwed up enough stuff out there to know you can survive failure. You can survive your mistakes that you make. Try not to burn bridges. I've burned a few bridges, and I regret every single one of them. Some of them are being rebuilt, and I like that, but you got to go for it. Same thing with you guys out there on TikTok. Now, let's get to the actual talk. But yeah, guys, go for it. Tony Collum is a good example of that. His ass goes for it. And just from watching our podcast, he used to have a YouTube channel, but coming up here, he was watching our podcast. Now he works it. He hosts it. His TikToks and all that are blowing up, and he does a damn good job. And now he's representing companies. It can happen. I get too zoned in fishing. I have a hard time talking to the camera. Hey, dude, listen. I get it. It's tough. I can talk to these cameras all day long. You can stick me out at Turner Field with 45,000 people, give me a microphone, and I can talk to all of them. Holding up a GoPro and looking in it or my phone is the toughest thing for me because I mentally have a hard time doing it. Can't get over it. Tony does a great job. And Tony, while you're there, by the way, you're hosting tomorrow night. I'll talk with you about that later. And no, dude, you don't owe so much to us. We owe it to you. We're only as good as the people that watch us. Jeremy Concry, I'm late. What are y'all talking about? We're getting ready to talk about fishing. I prefer the Marble Hill Redneck podcast over all the ones I have found. Well, there you go. This is Redneck Rush Limbaugh. That's what we're going to be doing. All right. So anyway, last night on the live well, towards the end of the show, boat snacks got brought up. And we were talking about what's them, them daggum, you guys that watched it last night. What are those little peanut butter and jelly Uncrustables? We got to talk about Uncrustables. And did you guys know that you can cook an Uncrustable? Because Alex Purrs cooks his Uncrustables. So we got talking about boat snacks and a lot of other things. We really went down the rabbit hole right then. But we were talking about boat snacks. And so I'm just curious, what do you guys, when you were fishing a tournament or whatever, hey, Alex, I'm just talking about you. Your ears must have been tingling. What do you keep on your boat for your boat snacks? Now, I'll tell you this. Generally, I don't eat. I really don't eat. So my boat snack is a bucket of chicken. Jeremy Conrad, where the hell do you get a bucket of chicken before a tournament? So beef jerky. Beef jerky is a good one. A cooked PB&J is crazy. That's what we talked about last night, that you can, first of all, Alex, John Aldred, see, a man after my own heart. Bottle of Mountain Dew and a can of Stoker's Long Cut Wintergreen. Dave Aldridge, pineapple sandwich. Dave, I ain't seen you in a while. You need to get your ass back up here. Yeah, Dave likes these pineapple sandwiches, and I don't know why. I still ain't tried one. I think tonight, Dave, I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna get some pineapple, and I'm gonna have a pineapple mayonnaise sandwich. Tony has beef jerky because he's been working on his figure. You have to because you're out there now on your TikToks. You're modeling, baby. I saw some of that. This shirt, form, fit, and custom, got the pants on and everything. Looking good. Looking good. Alex Purz said that he air fries his Uncrustables. Now, they got to be frozen. They got to be frozen. And I think this, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. In the air fryer, 400 degrees, 2.5 on one side, flip it 2.5 on the other. Plenty of Longhorn. Tony, we got to start paying you so you can afford some better tobacco. Okay? That Longhorn stuff right there, that stuff makes me sick. And I got to dip in 20 hours out of a 24-hour day. Jeremy says the night before a morning tournament and the evening before a night tournament. Okay. I got you right there. 370 degrees on them Uncrustables. So if you want to go air fry your Uncrustables, it's 370. They got a crispy crunch chicken right by the blockhouse. Can't beat some tenders and wedges on the boat, Cam says. You should do pineapple sandwich live on Thursday night show. Well, Anthony, I tell you what, I'll do it tomorrow. How about this? I'll do it tomorrow for the lunch break because I'm going to be at Cherry Street Brewing over in Vickery for there's a show. I don't know. Josh put us in there. It's kind of like a get together for fly fishermen guys. So I probably should put this hat on, to be the fly guys. But anyway, we're going to go over there and set up a booth and I guess talk and drink beer. I don't know. But I might tomorrow. I'll do a pineapple sandwich tomorrow. We'll do a review of a pineapple sandwich. Fig Newtons, Coke with peanuts poured in it. That's because you're a redneck farmer with them peanuts. But I do love peanuts in the Coke. Cuties are a good boat snack. The little miniature oranges and a bag of chips. Lloyd Dog, dip a PB&J in egg, then fry it. Interesting. Frying a PB&J in an egg. That might be on. I might try that tonight. Now you're talking about just a regular PB&J, right? That's not one of these frozen Uncrustables. Cold chicken and the smell of two-stroke for breakfast is pretty good. And Tony says, and a Red Bull. Alex says, egg and deep fryers take too long. This is 5 minutes and then done. It's kind of probably healthy too. Probably healthy too because you're air frying it. But I think I might try that. So tomorrow for lunch, we'll do a pineapple sandwich. And Dave, it has mayonnaise on it, right? Just want to make sure because I want to do it right. And then I personally, I have a hard time eating because, number one, I don't sleep the night before a tournament. So I'm generally up all night. My diet is, Doc Holliday says, pineapple sandwich with a slice of real cheese. All right, now we're getting bougie with the pineapple sandwiches. Got to be blue plate mayonnaise. I got some blue plate at home, even though I prefer Duke's better. My wife does not. She's a blue plate person. We're talking to the right man. Danny is the man with the indestructible gut. Even hog brains live on the air was nothing for him. Hey, listen, them hog brains, honestly, it tasted like potted meat. But the cow brains down on Black's Island tasted like paste. I don't recommend that. Should I put my pontoon grill on my kayak? Yes, absolutely. Tim White says, I'm too wide open to eat while running the front in a tournament, but Publix cold fried chicken is a staple from the back of the boat. Publix has the best chicken, 100%. And Kevin Thornton would be proud of you, Tim, with that comment right there. Y'all and pineapple, I'm out. Jeremy Concrete says. We talked about that last night. Boats need to have an air fryer put in. Think about that now. If we can get heated seats in a bass boat, there's enough room that you can put a microwave or an air fryer in there like that. And on the tournaments, I don't eat. See, that's the same thing. So, like, I don't sleep the night before. Right about 4 a.m., it's a Pepsi Zero and my Adderall. All right? And then I make sure I have 2 cans of Copenhagen because I have one in my mouth the entire 8 hours of a tournament. And then I don't drink water like I should. But Pepsi Zero is a staple. Beef jerky, possibly. But Tim, you're right. Like, I don't think about eating at all when I'm fishing because, number one, I know I'm getting my ass kicked and I got a lot of catching up to do. And I don't have, my wife is not Lulu like G-Man, she's not going to get up and fix me sandwiches and put cute little verses on the packaging like, Danny, go for it. You know, oh my God, when you put that red hat on, you look like Super Mario. Okay, well, let's try it again. Super Mario, huh? Here we go, guys. I don't know. It's definitely not set up. It just came in the mail today. But let's see if I look like Super Mario. How's that? You like the flat bill thing? I don't know about Super Mario, though. Gotta eat something helps keep you going. That's what the Adderall's for, dude. That's what the Adderall's for. All right, so anyway, but I thought it was interesting. You know, we were talking about that, and then all of a sudden it just went, you know how it is. It went, that whole conversation went into cooking your Uncrustables. And I went home last night, Alex, and I asked my wife, because generally there are Uncrustables in our house. And, you know, first of all, she was not asleep like she said she was going to be when I got home. And the first thing I said to her was, hey, we got any Uncrustables? And she said, no. So I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Now, you guys in the comment section, you guys can keep saying, you know, your favorite boat snack. I'm going to transition, because here's another thing that I find funny. Music that you like secretly. Danny, you're like me, definitely not a flat bill guy. Look at this big fat face, man. I got a big old round head. And there are guys out there that just are going to wear those hats. Did I give her a COVID test? No, I did not give her a COVID test, but I wanted to. Alex, I wanted to. I was shot down on the COVID test. And for those of you last night that want to know what a COVID test is, or today that want to know what that, you got to go back and watch towards the end of last night's live well. I ain't got time to repeat it again today. My work ethic has descended into mediocrity with the thought of being off next week. 100%. Vacations are great, and then they suck. And the reason they suck is because you got to go back to work. 100% I agree with that. Absolutely suck. The only time I eat during a tournament is when I am spinning out, and the break helps me calm down and focus back in. Yeah. And Tony, hey, listen, yeah, there's not going to be, like here, there's not a lot I want to do because I know we're going to be in Florida next week. Okay, so here, let's get on this new topic. Music that you like, but that you don't let a lot of people know about. Okay, and we'll talk about this. Already some comments coming in. I proudly bumped some Tracy Chapman with the top and doors off the Jeep. Now, here's the thing about Tracy Chapman. I only know that one song. I got a fast car. That's the only thing I know. Had a guest at our cabin on Lake Appalachia this past weekend that frequently goes into your shop. What was his name, Eric? And Coleman Jones. Now, here you go. Here's another one. I like Megan Maroney for various reasons. Sabrina Carpenter as well. Well, Coleman, what are those reasons? Steve Magmoto, EDM. So, listen, everybody knows me. Grew up in the 80s. I am a Van Halen aficionado. And hair bands. You got to have a guitar player. That's why the music today sucks. But that's what I grew up with. But guys, I have John Aldridge listens to some weird crap, but he doesn't. He listens to like hillbilly death metal. Jesse Murphy, Sexy Red on tournament mornings, Messick Outdoors. Carson Fowler, Pink Pony Club Slaps. I don't care who you are. And then Chris Pittman. Okay, I know Chris. John, I was getting ready to say that. Danny loves him some K-pop. There is something about putting on some Psy when I'm alone in this thing and bumping the hell out, because we got a hell of a sound system here in the shop. And if I wouldn't get demonetized, I'd crank it up right now. I prefer country and Western. I also like traditional Mexican music. I can't speak a lick of Spanish. Well, listen, I can't speak Korean. I don't know no damn Korean, but I tell you something. I got the video going on. John, why do I like it? You know, not only is it bumping, that dum, 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 but there's something about skinny Korean girls just doing that little shuffle. Ain't that what I tell you guys? I love my wife, and I'm not going to get divorced, and I wouldn't trade her in for the world. But there's something literally like, it's eye-catching. Literally everything except country. I do have a guilty pleasure for Crazy Train, though, for the guitar solo. Farmer, heavy metal. Get in my truck, it's country music or classic rock. By myself, it's heavy metal. 100%. Not much on music. Listen to nature. I want to hear turkey gobbling and birds chirping. Now, damn, Jeremy, don't turn into Walt Thoreau right here all of a sudden. Okay? You got to have something. I like, what's that song that it's all about that bass, about that bass. You know, those kind of songs, them pop songs that I don't want nobody to know I listen to. But if I'm in here by myself, guys that come in here before a live well, if they get here early enough and I'm by myself, they know it is thumping. Mike Geiger, Kid Rock all the way. You don't want nobody to know you listen to Kid Rock? I want to know the stuff that you don't want nobody to know about. Okay? Now, I don't listen to Barry Manilow or nothing like that. But today, while I was in here before the show, I had on some kind of India. It's from India. It was India heavy metal. I forget the band's name. And then I was listening to Japanese heavy metal. There is not, listen, I can't understand the stuff that, John Aldred listens to, but they're speaking in English. But picture that in Japanese, man. I mean, they are just going crazy with it. I love bluegrass. I hate the Vols, but love the song Rocky Top, except during the game, Go Dogs. Okay, so that's more like it, Tony. I understand that. Rocky Top is a very catchy song. Very catchy song. K-pop, just regular pop. Now, when I say that, we're talking earlier. Now, I'm listening to 90s rap. I grew up on heavy metal and Miami-style bass rap. Love me some Steel Drivers, Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, stuff like that. There is a K-pop song called La Dida. It jams. You guys, I tell you what, too, in the comment section, because, Josh says the only band I listen to is Van Halen, but you guys need to put down some new bands I need to listen to when I'm here by myself. But it is, listen, what's that song by Psy? Something about I got it from my daddy. I was jamming to that this morning. Let's see. Alex Purrs, do you like Treaty Oak? My favorite band ever, though they're new. And here's the thing is I don't know any new bands. Like, to me, roundabout, I don't know, 1995, rock and roll just kind of went the wayside. And there hasn't really been anything that I've liked since. I saw a lot about Oasis getting back together. Guys, I can't even tell you an Oasis song, but apparently a lot of you guys listen to Oasis and you know about it. Danny be listening to Britney. Well, looking. Early Britney was good. Right now, she's a psycho, dude. Britney Spears is one of the hardest falls out there. Danny, you should listen to Treaty Oak Revival, similar to Whiskey Myers and other Texas rock bands. Rocky Top is the only college song about moonshine. Yeah, I guess so. Treaty Oak. I'm going to write it down right now on my notes to listen to some Treaty Oak when I get done with this episode. You guys can throw out some more alternatives. DP Fishing Adventures. What's up? Got some last-minute work crap and missed the start. That's all right. Jeremiah Giles. 90s rap is my all-time favorite. The issue is West Coast had better music, but East Coast had better lyricists. Best rappers versus best songs. Now, Jeremiah, I will listen to Eminem. I'll listen to a little bit of Jay-Z. Again, when I'm by myself, I'm not letting anybody know I do this. Okay? You guys now have just been opened up to my world. Old 60, Lucas Beck. I guess that's a band, Red Clay Strays. All right? Now, listen, I don't want no hillbilly stuff. I'm country and all that, but if I'm going to listen to some, like, bluegrass music, I'm listening to Alison Krauss. She's ugly as a pit bull walking backwards, but she can sing like an angel. Southern rap was the best. Now, that's something I can't get into. The fat guy and the white guy in the overalls sitting on the back of his truck down in South Georgia rapping, that just don't do nothing for me right there. But I'll listen to some of these new guys right there. I'll give it a shot right here, crank it up from the shop. I got to put out some packages today. But it is interesting because sometimes I turn it up so loud in here in the shop, and most of the time I'm by myself. Okay, I'm absolutely by myself. And I've got it so loud that I don't hear a customer walking in. And it does not fail. Every single time I got that Korean music on, this old white guy will walk in the shop, and he looks petrified at what's going on. And I kind of inside, I'm like, oh, man, sorry about that. How you doing? But inside, I'm dying laughing because he is like, what the hell have I just walked into? 2 Live Crew, 95 South, 69 Boys. Now, Eric Thurman, I'm in the 80s. Fat Boy the Twist is what my wife listens to. No. I'm talking Texas, Florida style Southern rap. Okay, I'll check it out. But like every white kid in America who wanted to rebel against their parents back in the 80s, I had a copy of the Two Live Crew. And we sang the words and sang them songs, and we just thought, this is so edgy. But have you gone back now, Eric, and just put it on Two Live Crew and listen to it and how horrible it really was? It's really not good rap music. And I know as a 53-year-old white male that me giving my opinions on rap music is not going to be well received, or people will be like, what? Guys on TikTok are coming on and off because they don't know me well enough. But the Two Live Crew, the music itself sucked. But back in the 80s, because of what it was saying, like we all knew that. We all had it. I love Elvis, any song. Now, and then DP, he says, miss some good old Randy Travis. I never liked Randy Travis. There was just something about his voice. Elvis, a few songs, but my wife loves Elvis. Yes, Eric Thurman, the beats were good. They were good. But the lyrics and the actual rapping, like I feel like right now I could put out a Two Live Crew album and do just as good. It was that bad. And I know one of them guys just died and everything. So, but anyway, how can anyone not like Randy Travis? You know why? I'll tell you why. I'm not saying he can't sing. Have you ever had that one song that, you know, gets played so much that you can't stand it? And then it just kind of goes from there. I like that. What's that Randy Travis song? You may think that I'm talking foolish. That song, whatever the hell it is. I can't stand that song. Not because it's not a good song, but because I've heard it 15,000 times. Doug Rice, you need to check out River Runs Red, Steel Drivers. All right, I'm going to write it down. You guys are giving me some good things to try. And then I'm going to report back tomorrow whether they suck or not. But River Runs Red. Okay, I'll check that out. But when it comes to country, I'm the biggest Hank Jr. fan out there. I think Hank Jr. is the king of country. But if I hear Family Tradition one more time, I'm going to throw up because they have taken that song and they have ruined it. They have 100% ruined Family Tradition. So I like listening to the deep cuts of Hank Jr. and the stuff they don't play on the radio. Porter and Dolly. You know Porter Wagner sued Dolly? Did you know that, DP? Like when they broke up or something like that, he sued her. What's up, Bible Bass TV? And all you guys that are checking in on TikTok, I did not know that Porter Wagner sued Dolly until yesterday. Now, Jeremiah, you got a good one right here. Michael Jackson is probably the only artist you can play anywhere in the world, and anybody who hears it would know it off the top of their head. I do like me a little bit of Michael Jackson. Early Michael Jackson. Jackson 5 on up to the album after Thriller. Now, once he started cutting on his nose, he got a little weird for me. I tell you who I do like too. I like Prince. My wife loves Prince. Prince is an absolutely underrated guitarist. But I don't go around telling everybody I listen to Michael Jackson. Now, you guys want to know something funny? And this is the honest to God's truth. If we ever walk into a karaoke bar, you better get ready to hear me sing Family Tradition. Alex, 100%. I'll do that. What's up, Bible Bass TV on TikTok? How are you today, buddy? Prince is awesome. Now, listen, though. You guys that know me, you know how I am. You know what I like. When I was in the 5th grade, 6th grade, Thriller came out. I actually had the red jacket with all the damn zippers on it. My dad hated that, but my mom was like, hey, we're going to let him do whatever he likes. So I had Thriller, and I actually had that red damn jacket, and my mom made me the one white glove with the glitter on it. This is what was wrong with the 80s. I have since grown out of that, but I actually had that. Now, Anthony Hampton, I'm going to say something that's sacrilegious to a lot of you people. George Strait, he says, is the king of country. George Strait is the most boring show you will ever see. I'm not saying his songs ain't good, but my God, it's like sitting there at an insurance seminar. It is boring. Bible Bass TV talking about from last night. Good eating, a grape and peanut butter Uncrustable with Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh, snap, Danny. Any pictures of the jacket and glove? I bet my mom's got some. I bet my mom's got some. I'll see if I can find it. But I had the red glove. Anthony Hampton. Listen, what Jeremy Conkright says, unpopular opinion, I could care less about George Strait. Me too. But now Anthony Hampton. Now listen, I know you're with Picasso and you're an Alatuna guy and all that stuff, but let me tell you something. His comment is Prince was the best guitarist to ever play. No, the hell he wasn't. He was a great guitarist. He was not the best to ever play. Eddie Van Halen is the best to ever pick up a guitar. And on the countryside, Roy Clark. Garth Brooks isn't my favorite, but everybody knows Friends in Low Places. Yeah, I know. That's another song that got played way too much. Of course, My Rebel Days, Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, Charlie Daniels, Wet Willie, to name a few. When Prince played My Guitar Gently Weeps live with Tom Petty, best performance live I've ever seen. Now, listen, yes, it was good. Danny was a smooth criminal. Da-da-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun, da-da-dun-dun. Jimi Hendrix is not the GOAT. Jimi Hendrix came along and did some stuff that was out. He started it all. I'll give you that. I'll put him top 5. I'll put him top 5. I love Jimi Hendrix. Richie Sambora is one of the best guitarists that ever picked up one. He might be top 50, Alex. If you want to know my Mount Rushmore of guitar players, I'll give you my 4. Eddie Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix. I was breakdancing, Chris. I'll tell you that. Jimi Hendrix, Gilmore, and Jeff Beck, and then Roy Clark as a alternative. Eric Clapton, I don't think is that great, but he is good. Jimi Hendrix, yeah, but I get it. So at that point, we're just like, well, who's our favorite? Now, Chris Bauer says, I bet Danny was breakdancing out in the streets. I have pictures. I'll bring them. 7th grade, I won a breakdancing contest at South Forsyth, and they used to call me Breaking Dan the Dancing Man. I could spin on my hand. I could spin on my head. I could do all that stuff. I was also 100 pounds lighter. But I told you, we were talking about, did you moonwalk? Yes, I can moonwalk. And Mason Roach Fisher says, you look like a dancer. Now I just belly dance. But back in the day, and I know my mom's got some pictures, we had a dance off at a dance at South Forsyth. Now, you want an album. That video will get 10,000 likes. I'll see I don't know if I got video, but I do know there's pictures out there. All right. So they had Van Halen's 1984 had just come out. And so they were going to put that on there, and we were going to have a dance off, and you won an album. And I thought I was going to get Van Halen's new 1984 album. You know what the hell I won? I won it. I got Tina Turner's Private Dancer. That is the friggin' album I got for winning a breakdancing contest. Tina freaking Turner's Private Dancer. You guys remember that? I'm a private dancer for money. And I was like, that's the biggest damn letdown ever. I just busted my ass, spinning on my head and all that stuff. And I got Tina Turner's Private Dancer. We need to pause that podcast and find those pictures. My mama, I'm sure, has them. And I guarantee you there's one in a yearbook. There's one in the yearbook somewhere. But I can still, it takes me a little bit, but I still can spin on my hands because we were talking about the other day and nobody was here. And I got a couple pieces of paper to make sure the floor was slick, and I still can spin on one hand. I might try that, and we might make a video. I'm not guaranteeing it because it hurt like hell. John Denver, Cut Your Roads. Love that song. Eric Thurman, I was in a group in Florida called Floor Masters, and we used to travel and do shows, breakdancing, even filmed in a music video. You know what's funny, Eric? Is your body looks like mine. We're built kind of the same mold right now. And people don't believe us that we used to be in shape, and we actually could do things like breakdancing. Video wasn't a thing back in the 80s and 90s. That's right, and that's why I am so glad that cell phones weren't around, because in the 80s, we did a lot of stuff, especially on the school buses, that would get you in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble right now. Okay, best drummers are Neil Peart, Tommy Lee, John Bonham, Alex Van Halen, Keith Moon, and Travis Barker. Not necessarily in that order, but Neil is number one. FNGO After Dark turns into Dirty Dancing. Yeah. Try falling in reverse. I'm gonna see if I can break out some old breakdancing moves for you guys one day. Let me lose about 30 pounds. But yeah, I was called Breaking Dan the Dancing Man. I had a mullet. It was shaved on the side. I had a spike on the top, and I had long hair down to about right here. Uh, Deep. Let's see. Coleman Jones. Chad Smith has to be the best on the best drummers list. He's very good, very good. DP. Those were expensive when they first came out. What are we talking about? Oh, VCR tapes. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I like drummers. I don't get into them as much. I'm a guitar guy. You got to have your chops. And other than the Korean pop music and some pop music, if I'm listening to it, it's got to have a good guitar. Nuno, to me, of all the guys that are alive today, right now, the best guitar player is Nuno Betancourt. He can play anything. He can play anything. In extreme, he's good, dude. He's really, really, really good. Tick Allen was the best drummer. Sounded just as good as any and only had one arm. Is that the guy from Def Leppard? Is that his name? Because to me, I didn't get into Def Leppard. I really didn't get into Def Leppard that much. But if he's the drummer for Def Leppard, I got to give him Rick. Okay, so he said his name was Rick Allen, not Tick Allen. I was like, I don't know who the hell Tick Allen is. Rick Allen. Got to give the guy credit. Yeah, lost an arm, got out there and drummed. And this is how this show goes. We're at 40 minutes. We didn't even talk fishing yet. I love it. That Ethiopian Kambata is kicking in about right now. So, that's how, Chad Smith didn't even beat Will Ferrell in a drum off. Listen, Tony, hey, you guys can talk drummers, or bass players or whoever. How about this question for you guys? Who is the best front man ever as a musician? And we'll talk rock mostly, but the best front man ever. Because a lot of you are going to say, oh, what's the old guy from Eddie Mercury with Queen? And I'm not a Queen fan, but you can't deny before he left this world, he was pretty good. If you're a Van Halen fan, you're always going to hear the guy say David Lee Roth, even though David couldn't sing worth the daylights. What's up, Danny? Just doing a drive-by. Talk to you soon. Absolutely, Josh Taylor. Chris Stapleton is good. He's good. David Lee Roth was a good showman. That's right. Guthrie, Govan, Warren Barr, and then Andy James. Then Rick Graham, best guitar players. Believe me, when you see them, you'll agree. No, I won't. I'll go to my grave. At my funeral, I don't want any church music played. Not that I'm not a believer. I don't want it sad. I've already got the list. They're going to play Van Halen, some Beach Boys. Make sure you read the warning label on the hat before wearing on spring break ICAST. Andy, thank you for the hat. I love it. Steven Tyler, Steve Perry. They're pretty good, but are they like, when it comes to a front man, the best front man ever, what are your qualifications? They don't necessarily have to sing. They got to entertain. That's why David Lee Roth was so good. I mean, he could sing a little bit. Sammy Hagar is a far better singer than David Lee Roth ever thought about being. But Roth controlled the crowd. He was a front man. Robert Plant. That's a good one. Robert Plant. There's so many out there. But, okay. So that we actually talk about fishing, which is why some people have come on. I about fell over when you asked to go to the lake this evening 2 days in a row. Whoa. Oh, who are you talking to, Farmer? Let's talk about fishing. So last night when we had Doobie on, him being from up north, we talked a lot about smallmouth and all that. And he kept saying things like Ned rig, drop shot. You got to give Garth Brooks credit. He was flying over the crowds and everything. Well, Beyonce about fell out of that car the other night when she was driving over the crowd, didn't she? Beyonce's a thick girl. Somebody would have caught some hell if she'd have fell out of that car. Stapleton and Steel Drivers from 07 to 10. Kid Rock is still one of the best I've seen. He's been to 2 of his shows, and they were the best I've ever been to. Atlanta Safe House is laughing. Appreciate you joining us, buddy, on TikTok. I like the energy Bon Scott brought with Angus Young. Brian Johnson didn't do him any justice. Worst concert I've ever been to was a Garth Brooks concert in the late 90s. I watched Tyler do backflips on stage in his 60s. That is impressive. If I tried to do a backflip right now, I would be out of work for about a month. Anyway, what we were talking about last night was Doobie brought up Tim Doobie, Bassmaster Elite. He's like the rods he's got on his boat were drop shot and or Ned rig, something finesse like that. He has a lot of finesse stuff. Now, Doc Holiday, Rob is the unofficial leader at the NPFL. I got you. Hey, let me ask you this question. Those of you that watch professional bass tournaments, do you feel like, and the NPFL has this, they got that chaos leaderboard or something. Do you feel like you will just go in there and check on it and see where your favorite angler is as opposed to watching? Has the ability to check the standings in live time as best they can do it, has that affected your ability or your desire to actually watch them fish? And I know the NPFL isn't live today, but tomorrow it will be. Now, if Rob's got a camera in the boat, because I have a good relationship with Rob, I'll watch it. I'll keep track of it. Tony Collins says, I hate the leaderboard for that reason. Yeah, I think you can just see it, and it's like, okay, I don't need to invest time in it. Chris Cofield, Latham has changed so much in the last 4 years. In your opinion, what happened or what changed on the lake? We used to catch 4 to 5 5-pounders every trip. Now it seems slow. New bait, overfished. I wish you guys could fish Latham at night. You wouldn't see it that way, but I digress. How about this? There's an opinion of a local biologist. The weights were going down on Latham a few years back, and they put the catch and release on it. Now, I will say this. You had guys out there with live bait, trolling with live bait and all that. And the problem with that was they were keeping every fish they caught. So they took out not only the 12 inchers and the 10 pounders, but they took out that class of 4, 5, 6 pounders, 3, 4, 5, 6 pounders. I'm not saying they caused it. Atlanta Safe House says COVID, everyone started buying kayaks and it was packed. Oh, trust me. I live right at Atlanta Safe House. I am right across the street from the boat ramp. It was packed 7 days a week. Now, so they wouldn't let you keep any fish. It was catch and release. According to my buddy, Colin Steele, and this is what he does for a living, he thinks that was the worst thing they could have ever done on that lake. In his opinion, Latham has too many fish in it. Now, we talk about hickory log and all that with all the dinks everywhere, and you got to go through 5,000 dinks to get a true giant over there. But when I go to Latham now, the 2-pounder is king. They're everywhere. Are there too many smaller fish in Latham? Yes, it's pressured. Yes, it's pressured. Has the bait changed a little bit? I don't know. I'm not a biologist. But I do know that he's the one person that I've heard talking about Latham that has said they need to take some fish out of Latham. That the catch and release, and we're talking as far as quality. We're talking about as far as quality fish. I don't know. If you started taking some fish out of there, maybe you wouldn't catch as many, but the quality would go up. There is, y'all got the Magnum baits yesterday. Good. That's awesome. Several of you guys are talking about that. We'll see you, DP, on the next one. Work is calling. So I don't have the answer to that. I know that I fished Latham before it opened all the way up for a while, and it wasn't that hard to catch a good one. Then I got out of fishing for about 5 years after my father-in-law passed away because he was my fishing buddy. And when I came back to fishing Latham, it was different because the introduction of the blueback herring over there. Now, here's another thing that's been brought up. Blueback herring are notorious. Your bass go on bed, they spawn. They're fry hatches. The fry are up in the grass and all the little places trying to hide. At the same time, your blueback herring then come up and go on bed or do their, shad spawn. Blueback herring are notorious for eating small fish. So while the blueback herring initially put a lot of weight, especially with the spotted bass on Latham, could it be that now there's so many bluebacks in there that they are being detrimental? Of course, if that's the case, then you're not getting as many. There's so many different ideas. Latham hadn't always been public to fish. Since it's open, it's always been open to the public. We built the house across the street as it was filling up, and we knew Ron and them over there that ran the lake, so we were able to fish it kind of before it opened. But why is it tougher? If Tim White was still on here, he could tell you he can fish it better than I can. But Colin thinks there's too many fish. They need to keep some out of it. I've heard other people say the bluebacks are actually starting to hurt the fishing because they're eating all the fish fry. I don't know. I think lakes are cyclical, that they're up and down and back up again. I think every lake's like that. Right now, Lake Lanier is in a heyday. In 10 years, it could be down, and Allatoona could be up. Has the crappie fishing on Latham suffered as well? I didn't do that much of it this year, Jeremiah, but I do know the guys were still catching monsters out there, but not the numbers. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not a biologist. I'm not out there doing, the electro analysis of the lake and all that. But that, I don't know. If somebody can figure it out, it'd be nice to know, because the problem with Latham is I can go over there today and fish it, and I can probably put 15, 20 pounds, my best 5. Then on tournament day, I get wrecked. I don't do that good. How many spots are you catching to largemouth? Spots can get a lot of numbers. Well, Jeremy, Farmer says he noticed that the fish in Latham are line shy. It could be. It could be. I will tell you this. Now, Alex Purr says Latham is on fire. Bigs are scattered here and there. You really have to target them, but there are fish over 20 inches. Yeah, I get it. They're there. Jeremy, I don't know, but let me tell you this. In the tournament we had a couple weeks ago, this is interesting. All the fish that I caught in 6 inches or less of water or close to the bank were spotted bass. All the fish that I caught out schooling were largemouth. Go figure. I don't know. But that was the honest to God's truth. All the fish that I caught schooling, which used to be your spotted bass, were largemouth. And all the ones where I was skipping my weightless wacky and my buzz bait along the bank were all spotted bass. Now, that's just my experience. But it was absolutely totally backwards from what the norm was. All right, let's get back into that. You guys, let's just say you don't have forward-facing sonar. And some of you don't, some of you do. But let's say you don't have forward-facing sonar and you've got to finesse fish. Okay, you got to finesse fish. What are your favorite finesse techniques that you like to do and that you could do without the use of forward-facing sonar? Now, I think drop shot's probably going to be the number one for everybody. But used to drop shot, you went over a brush pile and you doodled it. Now we're all casting it out a little bit. Is that what you would do? Did you ever throw, or would you throw a minnow style bait? Are y'all talking about these new baits? Oh, yeah, they're talking about shaky head, shaky head, shaky head, Alex Purr says. Yeah, shaky head, worm fish, and that really, that seems to be easy. Drop shot and that. I used to throw a Ned rig a lot. And people would make fun of me, but I had a Ned rig on all the time. Coleman Jones, pre-forward facing sonar, I threw exclusively a shaky head, usually 1/16 skipping under docks. Jeremiah says, drop shot is the undisputed king of finesse baits, and I'm on the bank. Yeah, I would say, Jeremiah, I can't argue with that. I used to throw, when the Ned rig was getting popular, I threw it a lot. And there's still some guys on Allatoona and on Lanier that still throw it a lot and catch and win tournaments on a Ned rig. Now, I never could win a tournament, but I could throw a Ned rig for numbers. But even I have noticed in the last 2 to 3 years, the Ned rig doesn't produce like it did for me 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know why. Maybe I haven't lost confidence in it, but I've kind of transitioned over to the wacky worm. Now, if Danny is the wacky rig king, Alex is the shaky head king. I have confidence in a wacky worm because you can fish it year round. And I fish it weightless year round. I'm patient with it. I don't mind having to let go over a brush pile or down in the middle of a ditch. But how about all these minnow style baits? If you don't have forward facing sonar, are those coming off your boat? Now, Farmer has a little technique with a Demiki that I will not give out that you can use without forward facing sonar. And he taught me that, and I have done it, and it does work. But farmer, I'll keep that between us. I'll gatekeep a little bit how you throw it. But he showed me, and I throw it that way, and it does work. Drop shot grass edges. I've been throwing the Nico more now, farmer. Okay, so like, yeah, we're switching. We're switching. Atlanta Safe House. What line are you running with the wacky rig setup? I throw cast braid X12 and Tatsu 8-pound as my leader. I use the smallest hook I can humanly get away with. Like, I'm talking number one. I'm not that guy that uses a big hook. I'm a little bit different, and the reason I go with a smaller hook is from the trout world. You come in and you sell flies for trout. If you sell flies for trout, they're pinning 24 to 30 inch browns and rainbows on these nymphs with hooks that are so small I can't see to tie the line through. Taking that, I will throw the smallest hook I can. And sometimes my hook, depending on whatever Cinco I'm using, there's not much exposed. Now, I can tell you what you're not going to do, though. You're not going to be boat flipping. You got to have a net. You're not boat flipping with that. Wacky trick worm. It can be deadly. Weightless wacky in the winter. I pretty much only throw a net in the winter, and I put it away the rest of the year. So, listen, Jeremiah, only there. Kevin Underwood has seen me do this. Pull up to a brush pile, and we'll throw your standards and all that, but I will take a Yamamoto in that monster bass color, and I forget the number, monster shad or whatever the hell they call it. I'll throw that joker out, and then I'll just sit there and hold it, and I'll wait, and I'll watch my line, and it takes 30 seconds for that thing to get down there. If they haven't already come up and gotten it. There's just something about that wacky just kind of going down, nice, slow, and soft, that it's not too, like for a very sluggish wintertime bass that really isn't aggressive, they'll eat it. Flip it under a dock in the middle of winter. You can do that. Now, I'm not going to tell you that in the spring and summer you're going to get quicker hits and all that, but in the wintertime, a weightless wacky is just subtle enough to just float its way down there if you're patient. But you're not going to boat flip them on the setup that I got. Wacky worm gets bites. Gone fishing with Ed on TikTok. It does. Year round. But that's a finesse technique that I can do without forward-facing sonar. Ned rig, you don't have to have forward-facing sonar. The Nikos and all that, basically what we basically have said is worm fishing. But I still want to know about you guys that right now are looking at your forward-facing sonar and you're chunking out minnows and you're shaking them and you're doing all your little things like that. If you didn't have forward-facing sonar, would you be throwing those? Fishing with Farmer has a very good point. You could put a Ned rig on the back of a bass jig, and it does produce. That is something that Farmer has showed us here on the show several times, and I've done it. It absolutely will produce. Sometimes and the Farmer, correct me if I'm wrong, but lots of times the crawfish are so small that the pinchers are so small that they're not even there or whatever. And so a Ned rig replicates that really, really, really good. Really good. Almost like a juvenile crawfish. So he's done that and it works. But none of you guys that throw you guys haven't chimed in. I want to know, would you still be throwing these Sakamata shads, these, your Kitex, if you didn't have forward-facing sonar? Would you even be throwing that? And does that show how forward-facing sonar has changed a lot of things? Tips for Rocky, clear reservoir that's flooded water, came up 10 feet. What's the best way to approach it? Rocky, clear reservoir that's flooded, water came up 10 feet. I can tell you what, Farmer, we got a lake over here called Carter's. When Carter's floods, every one of these guys up here, Farmer especially, will go to the flooded timber. If you got it, doesn't matter if it's clear, but whatever, and they'll chunk jigs up into the picnic tables and to the trees, and they'll jig fish it. Without knowing the lake, 10 feet, I'm still throwing a wacky, man. I'm telling you, it's subtle. Clear water, it's deadly in clear water. But if it's come up 10 feet, I need to know, is it over the banks? If it's up over the banks in the trees, these guys here in Georgia, They're chunking jigs up into that because the fish. Think about the pros too. I forget what lake they were fishing earlier this year. It was flooded and up into the bushes and up into the trees. And them guys were pitching into all that new flooded stuff. For some reason, them bass come up. So if your lakes come up 10 foot, it has timber, a little hydrilla, picnic tables underwater. OG Green on TikTok. Fish the picnic tables, fish the timber. I'm telling you, that's what these guys do on Carter's, and it will blow your mind. Farmer might have had to go back to fishing, or either he's up there going, damn, Danny, shut up. Don't tell everybody my secrets. But Carter's Lake is the deepest lake east of the Mississippi, man-made lake east of the Mississippi. All right. And when it floods, it goes up into the picnic tables and all that stuff. They will target all that flooded. They won't even mess hardly with any of the regular water. Wherever it's flooded, he's hitting it. He's hitting it. And Farmer's one of the best anglers I know around here in Georgia. I mean, he's pretty good at everything, but that's exactly what he's doing. If you got picnic tables, fish it. Now, I need to ask this question, OG Green. Do you have spotted bass or do you have largemouth? Both will go up. Okay, you're in Texas. We just got a bunch of rain in Texas. Yeah, you did. I really hate what happened down there. That is awful. That is awful. And what's even worse is some of the comments on social media them people are saying about those poor children that lost their lives and all that. Ugly. But, yeah, Oklahoma, same thing. No spotted, just largemouth and smallmouth in this particular lake. When it does, take a jig. Now, Farmer, if you're on there on YouTube, Texas Lake, clear water, flooded up 10 feet up into the timber and all that. Would you downsize your jig? And how, let me ask you this, OG Green. What's the water clarity right now with all that's come in? Is it stained up a little bit? That's a big thing. So if you got stained water, here's what Farmer said on YouTube, and this is about Carter's Lake. Oh, it's very clear. Carter's Lake, when it floods, is lights out. Pine tree stumps and picnic tables, black and blue jig. But Farmer, he's saying that this lake in Texas is clear still. It's come up that much, but it's still clear. But it is new territory for fish to explore and fresh to find new food and all that. So maybe you throw OG Green, maybe you still go with the jig, but you might not throw a black and blue. Maybe you go with a green pumpkin, something very kind of stale, kind of plain, and just get it up there. But if you ain't fishing in picnic tables, bolt swim baits, throw a glide bait, another good choice. Another good choice right there. Farmer said, and this was his suggestion, if it's clear and it's flooded, throw a green pumpkin jig. Throw a green pumpkin jig. But bolt swim baits, throw a glide bait. Yeah, that's a good one. It's just those fish, think about it this way. And I've learned this from all the guys talking around here. If you got flooded area and the fish are up there, they ain't up there just to be up there. Right? Don't you guys agree? They're up there to eat. They're up there to eat. So they're going to be aggressive. He's caught a lot of big fish that way. So that's a good one. A lot of you guys are having to go back to work. We're going to go a little longer today. And so if you get to continue and listen with us, got a pretty decent little crowd still up here. When it floods, bulk your jig up to make a bigger profile. Okay, OG Green, did you hear that? Farmer said, and Jeremy Conkright says, throw a big wake bait. So we had a glide bait, a big wake bait. Farmer says, if you're going to be chunking that jig up, make it a bigger profile. Bolt swim bait says, bluegill and all move up as well. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. But the best thing I think everybody can agree on is fish it. Fish it. Get up there and fish it. In fact, if you're going for 8 hours, I'd spend all 8 hours throwing at every flooded thing I could. I think that's what I would do. Tom Arico, prayers for comfort, Texas. Amen. Thank you for the rescues. Yeah, man, that was awful. That was awful. And I ain't got time with the people who are assessing blame and all that. I'm sure somebody screwed up somewhere like that. But the fact is, a lot of people sent their kids to a camp that didn't come home. Think about that. I got 3 kids. They're all grown now, but I can't imagine the heartbreak. But yeah, so absolutely think about those people in Texas and just ignore the other stuff. All right. OG Green says, some old timers told me even the old bank line can, before the flood, be good too. You could. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think the fish that are going to be up there are going to be aggressive. And so Whether you're throwing a glide or a wake bait or whatever you like, or a big jig like Farmer likes to do, uh, they're up there to eat. The bluegill, like Bolt Swim Bait says, they're up there to eat. So everything's up there for a reason. Go for it. Listen, you're not working, you're fishing. It might teach you something. It would be eye-opening. Jeremy Conkright said it's power fishing, it's fun fishing. Heck, a buzz bait or a popping frog up there. All good choices. Fishing, I would say fish what you're comfortable fishing with. Like Bolt Swim Bait said a glide bait. I'm not comfortable with glide baits. It's one of the things on my list to learn how to do. So I would not throw a glide bait up there, whereas he would. But the jig, wacky worm, I would be chunking at everything. Don't overlook a swim bait. Being in Texas, a swim bait might be a good thing too. Never would I thought of a river rising 26 feet in 45 minutes. I know, man, ain't it crazy? The videos of just watching that river come up that fast, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like that. But that's something you can think about right there. Just fish your strengths wherever you're at, what you're comfortable throwing, but get in there and get nasty. Flooded picnic tables will surprise you. Because I hear Farmer talking about it here all the time. In fact, that's one of the best things. William said, Florida here, swim baits, trick worms, buzz bait. Yeah, William. Appreciate you joining us on TikTok. 100%. It's and you know what's funny is when we had Tim Doobie on last night on the live well, we were just talking about the differences in Florida. When the elites were in Florida earlier this year in their schedule, they were fishing spawn, post-spawn fish. He is now on Lake Ontario, and he is finding pre-spawn and spawning fish right now on Ontario. So you see where we were at in the southern part of the country, post-spawn, and now 5 months later, 4 or 5 months later, pre-spawn and spawning fish up in Ontario. Absolutely crazy. But William, hey, appreciate you joining us. We do this every day at 12 o'clock. Just join us. Just kind of a little break in the middle of the day. You guys that are working, just kind of throw us on there, and we just BS about fishing and whatever crosses my strange little mind. Farmer says, I put it on Carter's when the parking lot was underwater. 100%. Don't overlook boat ramps either. Think about that. Hard structure. Atlanta Safe House has got to get back to work. God bless y'all. Hope you have a great day. You too, buddy. You got hard structure, the concrete coming down. Don't overlook that as well. Jeremiah says, I missed 5 to 10 years when everybody and their mother wasn't trying to do the big swim bait stuff. I still don't do it. I don't do it. I got to figure it out. I like going to tuna when they drain it down to try and take note of the structure along the shoreline for when it's back at full pool. Smart thing to do. Come on now, give Mike a shout out. All the bull shad 4x4 is made for that style of fishing. If you guys haven't been throwing or have never thrown a Buka bull shad, you need to. You need to. I remember when I had Shan O'Gorman on, if you guys know, he's the aquatic biologist. One of the questions I asked him was, if you could pick one bait to catch a trophy bass and you only had one bait to do it with, his answer was bull shad. It was a bull shad. Steve Guthrie fishing. Don't forget about the old spinnerbait. You know, spinnerbait is one. I grew up. Oh, Bible Bass TV. I love Allatoona. Been my home lake. Bible Bass, are you from around here? I didn't know that. Hell, you're on TikTok and on YouTube, buddy. I can't keep up with you. The old spinnerbait. Now, we can get into this conversation since hell we're here. Chatterbait versus spinnerbait. Chatterbait is the sexy bait right now, but the spinnerbait has been catching bass for decades and decades. But it has fallen out of favor with a lot of people. It's just not sexy anymore. But for the guys that still throw it, my goodness, they catch them. You join the dark side over here on YouTube. And you guys on TikTok, look, you can go to FMGO on YouTube and make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We can do that. You live in Hiram. Okay, there you go. That ain't too far. You're a flatlander. If you're below Dawsonville, you're a flatlander. If you're up here in Pickens County and North Dahlonega and all that, we mountain folk up here. You're a flatlander down there. But, yeah, OG, if you're still there, fish the hell out of those flooded areas, 100%. Um, but I find it totally interesting, it being a Texas lake and all, when you said it's gone up 10 feet and it's still clear. Because here, flat billies, James Ramsey says, yeah, you're flat billy. Here it muddies up. We get stain on the water. And that's when guys like Farmer and them go to town because they're power fishermen and they absolutely love stained water. So I can imagine, I've never fished a flooded clear there. I see you have a cup of ambition there. Right here? Yeah, I got a lot of ambition. Again, I'm drinking Ethiopian natural Kimbata. I don't know what the hell it is, but it was at the house. This lake has been flooded and probably hasn't been flooded in probably 5 or 6 years. This lake is all rock, hardly no mud at all. Dude, I'd like to fish that lake. I went to Guntersville for the first time 6-7 months ago. Farmer, how long has it been? I have never seen so much grass in my life. I honestly would have sold my mom to get back over here on Lake Lanier to have a rocky point. It was awful. And I know they catch tanks and toads out there, but when you're not used to grass, my goodness, it's a different world. And so, but that's interesting. It hasn't flooded in 5 or 6 years, all rock, no mud, and it's up 10 feet. Them fish have to be up there feeding. What's your predominant bait fish in that lake, if you don't mind me asking? Is it gizzard shad, threadfin? What you got, and how big is the lake? Bible Bass, you're right next door to Cam. I'm in Lithia Springs. We usually launch out of the blockhouse. A lot of our followers, Danny hated that grass. Dude, listen, Farmer, you know how it was. And let me tell you something, punching, that's the boringest shit I've ever done in my life. There's nothing sexy to me. It does not turn me on to pull up to a big grass mat and throw it. They got gizzard shad there. So yeah, I mean, I guarantee them gizzards up there. Go up there and fish it. I'm telling you, punching is just boring to me. Now, can you catch monsters? Yes, I know you can, but there's just something about just blind casting to a big grass mat. That's just boring as crap to me. Lake Belton, MLF came out here in 2021, I believe. I guess I'll look that up. I'm sure there's a video on YouTube. Just to kind of check out the lake. Any of you guys out there on YouTube know anything about Lake Belton? But that's pretty cool. Clear lake, all rock, gizzard shad. You big swim bait guys, I guarantee you they'll be out there throwing a gizzard representation. I love the grass, power fisherman candy, but I'm a finesse guy, Farmer. So you understand that, and you know that. That's why it was so tough with me. But I see that Evolve rod sleeve. Best one on the market. You cannot listen. If you guys, I know they got cheaper ones and stuff like that on YouTube now you can get, but this is an American-made company. This is the best rod sleeve. Every rod I got has an Evolve rod sleeve on it. They're the best. I don't care what anybody says. Danny, I'm guessing you have one leg longer than the other. Well, I got 3 legs. Which one are you talking about? I can tell you that 2 are longer than the one. What would you rather fish there or throw a pop? Would you rather fish there or throw a plopper on Lanier? Carson, what are you talking about there? Like out here at Lake Belton, or are you talking about Guntersville? Guntersville, I caught some fish, but when you're not used to fishing a lake like that, it's just different. And I was out of my element. Conkrite, listen, Kentucky boy, fairy wands. Listen, don't knock a fairy wand. Many a dollar has been won on fairy wands. I do own bait casters. I do throw them, but I'll tell you this. The only time I throw a wacky worm on a bait caster is if I know I'm fishing a largemouth lake. So take Hickory Log over here, which is a small electric-only reservoir. It's predominantly largemouth, if not all largemouth. There might be a spot or 2 in there. That day, I'm chunking my bait caster with my wacky worm. On a spotted bass lake, deep water lake like that, you got to throw that fairy one, dude. That's the way it works. Leave your spinning gear at the house when we go back to Guntersville. Yes, that I learned. That's 100% true. It's just a different world out there. It's a different world out there. But this Lake Belton, that sounds kind of right up our alley. Big gizzard shad, clear water, rock. That's something that I feel like I could go out there and figure out a way to at least catch a fish. Gunnersville, hell, all I needed to do was just throw what Dave was telling me to throw, but you guys were doing the buzz bait and the frog thing, and I'm not a frogger. I need to be one, but I'm not a frogger. I got to learn that. So anyway, we'll figure it out. But OG Green, appreciate you joining us and taking part in the conversation today. So we actually went an hour and 15 minutes. It's supposed to be a 30-minute show. I don't think I've ever kept it to 30 minutes at all. So I know a lot of you guys are working, and we're going to let you guys get back to work. So I appreciate you taking some time out during the day to hang with me. It makes my day go quicker. Now I got to get back to work and pack up some orders and do that. I want you to come back tomorrow, OG Green, every day, 12 o'clock. All you guys that are over there on TikTok. And, of course, you guys on YouTube that follow us all the time, you know I love you. June bug is my confidence lure and a whopper plopper. Bible bash, you're going to have to go back over to TikTok. You can't hang on YouTube throwing a whopper plopper. We just don't allow it here. That is the most, Josh, I always miss these. Well, we're still going a little bit. Since you brought up a whopper plopper, I can't stand it. And everybody that knows me knows that the one bait that I hate throwing more than anything is a whopper plopper. And there's a story behind it that takes too long to go through it, but you ain't no flatlander, you're a hill climber. small fish and big catching on TikTok says, love the whopper plopper. I'm not going to tell you it don't catch fish. Here's the story. You guys don't know. I'll tell it real quick. I'll give you the broad stroke. Whopper ploppers only work for people who can fish by themselves. That way nobody can verify it. That's right, Josh. So on an electric-only reservoir in January, first tournament of the year, 17 freaking degrees outside. We're breaking ice to get up to where we're fishing. And what's them damn reels that go, yeah. It's slipping my mind right now. You know what the hell I'm talking about. Wow. Every damn cast. So anyway, my partner, all of a sudden, he had Shimano DC. That's it. So anyway, all of a sudden I start hearing that thing just screaming off the back of the boat. And I hear this. And I'm like, what the hell? But I'm not paying any attention. After about 10 minutes of that, I turn around and look. And my partner's got a whopper plopper that looks like something you daggone go after salt water out there on the back. And I'm like, dude, it's 17 degrees out here. Why are you throwing top water? And what the hell are you throwing? And he kept throwing it. And he threw that thing in every tournament all year long. Laugh my ass off. I only use a Berkeley 90. LOL. This thing, dude, I'm telling you, I don't know what size it was. It threw a damn rooster tail wake when he was bringing it across the water. But I had to listen to that DC go all year long. And he never caught one fish. And to this day, unless I'm by myself or nobody sees it, I will not throw a Chapo or a whopper plopper. He's training the fish to target jet skiers, no doubt. But what was funny was, and listen, and I had another partner. I have to tell this too. If he's watching it, he knows who I'm talking about. We're on a hickory log too. We're in 5 foot of water, and I'm in the back of a creek, and I'm chunking my wacky worm or shaky head or whatever the hell it was. The 190, it's musky size. It was big, Jeremy. Dude, it was big. But anyway, we're in 5 foot of water. And all of a sudden, I'll start shaking like this off the back of the boat. And I thought maybe my partner stumbled a little bit. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And I finally turn around and I look. And now, guys, we're in the middle of summer in 5 foot of water. And he's got a jigging spoon. One of them real heavy ones that you use in the winter. And he's just ripping that son of a bitch. And it's flying up and it's coming out of the water and going back down. And we're in 5 foot of water. And I turn, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And he goes, well, there's a bunch of arches on your screen right here under the boat. And I said, well, hell, we're in 5 foot of water. Look down. You could see the bass if he was there. It's a clear lake. I love him. He's one of my best friends. But between that jigging spoon and 5 foot of water, clear water, and that Wapo, dude, I'm telling you what. That and then, hell, I might as well keep talking about him. We were on an electric-only tournament on Rocky Mountain. If you live in Georgia, it's a public fishing area. And we were fishing with the Electric Elite. First tournament of the year. And we're sitting there, and my boat, I got an Elko EP20 on the back, electric motor, and it's the tiller drive. And then there's a chair on the front. And I used to, when we first started, I'd let him run the trolling motor, whatever. I was going to drive the thing. And I'll get to that question right here in a second. Well, I'm sitting there, and it's just dusky. You know, sun's just starting to come up. We're waiting to zoom off because it's not a blast off in an electric tournament. We zoom off. And I got my back turned to him and all that. And I'm like, the hell is that smell? And I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of looking around. And there's a strange odor. Farmer, I know you got stories about me. I know you do. But there's this damn smell. And I'm just kind of like, damn, I'm looking at the boats behind us and all that. And finally, it just got so damn strong, I turned around to the front of the boat. And my partner was sitting up there, sitting in a thing. And he had one of these damn pipes. One of them Sherlock Holmes pipes. One of them big flute-looking jokers. And he's just sitting there hitting that pipe. And he had some kind of damn funky hat on. And I looked at him like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm smoking a pipe. I said, dude, put that thing up. You're embarrassing me. Put it up. You're embarrassing me. Everybody on the water is watching you smoke that trumpet pipe. And it's my partner here, Josh. He's a strange bird. But calling the fish in. Dude, it was like, have you ever seen anybody smoke a freaking pipe right before a tournament starts? Much less, and what could at least been one of them damn corncob pipes. No, it's a big old damn Sherlock Holmes flute pipe. What's your go-to top water, depending on the lake? Small fishing, big catching. I like throwing a buzzbait. Buzzbait with a frog on the back. Yeah, way to uphold the name Josh. Got to keep it weird like the rest of us. He's a professional cinematographer here. He's highly weird anyway. One of the nicest, best-hearted people you'll ever meet in your life. But he's got some weird habits. The longer the show goes, the second half of work goes by smoothly. Well, hell, we'll just keep talking for a little bit. As long as some of you guys are hanging around, I guess I'll keep talking. Ain't no customers coming in. But top water, my favorite top water is a frog buzzbait, a Spro E-Pop, particularly in chrome with a blue back. That's more your Lake Lanier. Farmer says a gunfish and buzzbait. You guys can throw it out there in the comment section too. Do you have an online website? Would love to help the shop out. Yeah, I mean, we do. You just type in FNGO. Just type in FNGO.com, and it's got links to all our social media, our TV show, and everything. I am redoing the website, but there are some products on there. Can't find an E-Pop. That's because they're popular. OG Green says Yellow Magic Pop-R. That's a good one. DP's back. You put out the fire. Jeremy Conkright said I would have been laughing about it. What are y'all hours on Friday? On Fridays? Well, just kind of depends. 8:30 to 4:30, definitely, sometimes 5. Just depends on how many people are in here. What's the craziest or funniest thing you've seen on the water? Craziest or funniest thing you've seen on the water? All right. Another thing that happened to us. So my partner, being the cinematographer he is, always likes taking a drone with us. Same thing. We're at Rocky Mountain tournament going up, and he's got this drone. He got it up and he flew it around to kind of get a lot of stuff before the zoom off. Okay, before the zoom off. So he lands this drone between he and I, and I'm sitting on the back, Elko, getting ready to zoom off. He's got his eyes facing forward, and all of a sudden that daggum drone came to life, raised up about 6 inches, and zoomed right into my damn chest. And I'm on the back of the boat in a fist fight with the drone. It cut my fingers up. I was bleeding. It beat the ever-loving hell out of me. And he turns around like, now he's wanting to know what's going on the back of the boat. Well, I'm getting my ass kicked by your drone, dude. I'm screaming, get it off of me. Get it off of me. That's one. I will say on Latham, there was a boat parked on one of the far banks. Nobody there. We pulled up. Heard a lot of noise in the woods. About 5 minutes later, I thought it was deer. About 5 minutes later, here come a man and a woman down. God knows only what they were doing up there. Back to the top water, True South Twin buzzbait. I see there was another one. Rico is the only popping bait. William, hey, got to run. Great show. 64 years old, learned a little bit. God bless. Have an awesome day. William, come back and join us tomorrow. We'll be back. Any advice for someone who was raised fishing in Florida? Cheat code, I know, but now on Lanier. On Lake Lanier right now, you pretty much can throw just about anything. Have you? I've never seen this show and I love it. Well, we just started doing it on TikTok. We've been on YouTube for a while now, so we're kind of branching out a little bit with the TikTok game. So go to FNGO on TikTok, Fish North Georgia, and you'll see all our little clips and everything. Docks, and shaded spots, 100%. Guy putting his boat in reverse and then getting out to push it off the bank and then watching it head off without him. That would be funny. Generally, anybody with a wife who's trying to back their boat in is the funniest thing you'll see. And that guy's screaming at her like she's supposed to be Dale Earnhardt and be able to do everything. He went out and bought him a daggum 25-foot pontoon, and he expects her just to be able to slam that thing right down the dock like she was raised doing it. And he's screaming at her like, dude, get your ass in there and back it up. That's the only daggum reason you got her doing it. It's because you couldn't do it. A couple broke down on the Savannah River. They were in the edge of the bushes when I came by. A woman jumped up on the bow, snatched her top down, and went to jumping up and down, flagged me to tow him. So you towed him because she showed you the boobs. Hey, whatever works. Got your attention, didn't it? One of the funniest things I've done was forget to pull the trolling motor up before taking off while night fishing, got drenched. I did that several times. I backed the boat out for a night tournament, forgot to put the plug in. Seemed like, where the hell's all this water coming from? Jumped in. It was our old ProCraft I had. I had to jump in while right before we blasted off and just go under and put and it was an old school one. It wasn't one of those that had the string attached. I had to hold it in my hand and hope like hell I didn't drop it. We did that. It was hell to see. Yeah, I bet it was. I said, listen, if you fish with me ever, it's a walking, talking comedy show anyway. I think the funniest thing, though, and I know it hurt. So guys that you don't know, Ryan Sheffield used to work here. He's a big boy, 6'8". I don't know, about 6'8", 6'9". I was trying to skip a 1/4-ounce Ned rig under a dock. He was on the front of the boat, and I reared back, and I rocked that thing as hard as I could, and it went straight square in his back, and all I heard was a, ugh. He was not happy. But on Lake Lanier right now, go to docks, throw under docks, shady side of docks. Look for schooling fish over brush piles, over humps, especially over humps. Right now, the flutter spoon is working because I went with Underwood. He's 6'7". Hitting a stump with a trolling motor at night is always fun. Yeah. We were throwing a flutter spoon, and you got to have forward face. Well, you can throw it without it, but forward facing sonar does help. I'm glad Cranking and Yanking ain't watching on YouTube. He'd be fussing at us right now. Insert eye roll here. But there's been a lot of funny stuff. Oh, I'll tell you what. Here's the funniest thing I've ever experienced, and it's embarrassing as hell. And a lot of guys on YouTube know this story, but you TikTok guys don't. Fishing an electric-only tournament. The guys in front of us were at weigh-in. They go in. They pour their 5 fish in. They take the lead. They asked me to hold their bag while they were taking pictures. So they're taking pictures. They come back. They put the fish in the bag, head off down to let them go. I'm the next guy to go in. Walk up, and the guy goes, how many you got? And I go, 5 alive, 5 alive. Well, I go to pour, and it was nothing but a bag of water. They had the same bag I had. And so they put their fish in my bag with my fish. We weren't paying attention because they had a monster bag. They took the lead. So as I'm pouring, you ought to have seen the guy that was doing the scales. He looked at me like he didn't know if I was joking or just what the hell was being funny. Well, I was dead serious, 5 alive, pouring that water in. And about that time, every one of us went, oh, no. We look over, and those guys are dumping my fish out and their fish, and then they figured out what was going on right about the time they were dumping it out. So that was probably the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened because it was fun. It was in front of a pretty decent crowd. So, yeah, I am the only guy in the history of the world of bass fishing to weigh in a bag of water. So there you go. That is fishing with Danny Pruitt in a nutshell. Got thrown out of a boat due to a stump at night. Yeah. Anyone ever fished the Russell WMA Lake? I've taken my dog there for training, but never fished it. I have not, Josh, but guys that fish Russell love it. They love it. So I think it's got spots large. I think you can do anything. Go back and check out some of the live wells. We've talked about Russell a good bit, but I've never been on it. So anyway, guys, I went an hour and a half today. For a 30-minute show, we went an hour and a half. So I have got to get back to work. Got to get something done. So appreciate you guys joining us on YouTube. You guys watching on TikTok. Appreciate you guys doing that. Again, every day, 12 o'clock noon, we have our little lunch break where we get together. And it may take us an hour to get talking about fishing. But when I wake up, it's whatever's on my mind is how this show is going to start. So you're welcome for the break. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Don't work too hard. If you're one of the guys that are outside in the sun, try to stay cool. If you're in there, get to work, Danny. I know I got to do it. OG Green, appreciate you joining us today. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll just have some more fun about lunchtime tomorrow. So see you guys, and appreciate you joining us today. Y'all be good. Be cool. Hit the right button on YouTube. Now I'm off there.